Can you please state your name and date of birth?
William McNally Evanson. I have two names because I had two fathers. Born in 1939. Shortly after I moved to Los Angeles in 1961, I had decided that the new frontier was for me. And I was leaving San Bernardino, where I was a railroad switchman, and moving my seniority to LA so I could be part of President Kennedy's new frontier movement. And decided after Kennedy gave his peace speech in '63 to join the Peace Corps and to go abroad to help with this effort of a peaceful revolution in South America with the Kennedy's Alliance for Progress program, which had billions of dollars. Basically, there's this whole push for peace. '63, '64, then Kennedy gets killed, but that really didn't change the desire for peace. Economically speaking, where the poor were being crushed, and Kennedy had made these desires to change things, change the type of way the government did business with its defense industry and so forth. So when I came back from the Peace Corps, I wanted to stay in this work that I'd been trained in, which was to...
This was about when?
'64, I went in, '66, I came out.
Okay, so 66, 67 we're talking.
Right, so I get a job. I wanted to be a Peace Corps training, and I did a Peace Corps training thing in University of Missouri in the summer of '66. But the UCLA team didn't want me, so I took another job, which was with Extension Division, to create classes and conferences for businessmen. Now, this was not at all what I wanted, but it was a job that was leading into adult education, which was really where community action is going to end up. It's going to be with adults. So the University of California started a statewide program at its 6 University of California campuses. I think there's 10 now, maybe 11. And in that, they decided to have action on each campus. And I got the job to lead the point at UCLA. We made the argument that it would be better if UCLA is going to get in bed with somebody, that we get in bed with somebody close by, somebody where students live. And it was a multiracial community because it was a poverty community. Why was it a poverty community? It had been a city, but the city got raped and destroyed, and so it was nothing but a slum. The landlords didn't put any money into the property, and poor blacks lived in Oakwood, which was a kind of like a safe zone. Senior Jewish citizens lived here. And the short answer to why so many lived here is they were socialist Jews from Europe. That was the Venice Jewish community. And they had lots of synagogues. I think at one point they may have had 5. I decided that Venice was a perfect example of the melting pot of America. And at the time, what we had was a poverty place. We had no money, we had no action, we had no reputation. And these stories and books that started to get published in the '70s then led to what became this image of Venice as a worldwide diverse culture. And in fact, when we were organizing the Venice City, the Venice Town Council, that was one of the things that we were trying to point out, that we had the blacks, we had the rich down in the marina, we had the beachfront hippies. So this was a diverse community. So I gotta make the argument that Venice's reputation today as this, and I take it up to Snapchat because I stopped thinking about Venice after Snapchat. But up to that point, Venice is considered, I mean, I can't tell you how many ads feature Venice. Well, I mean, think about that. This is a community that car manufacturers, all kinds of manufacturers of stuff, come here to put their product, at Windward. Hey, here we are selling bubble gum or cars or something. So I kind of think that all comes from that 70s, 80s, 90s push to make Venice a respectable place, a knowledgeable place, and a diverse place. The Venice Circus to me really operated down there by Small World Books and the restaurant, because that's kind of like had some of the oldest relics of the Kinney days. There was an old gas pump, and these were buildings that actually had been used by the Beats, who came in the early 60s. And my God, you'd have singing groups, guitar players, comedians. You had, there was a guy who'd tie himself up in a what do you call it, a straitjacket. And then he'd lay there on the goddamn ground, writhing as he tried to get out of it. And, people were all, so to me it was a real circus, because I grew up in circuses as a kid. I lived in Miami Beach, and that's where Ringling Brothers did their winter things. My parents even told me that they found me at the circus. I really wasn't born. So circuses were always big with me. So I spread around as much as I could stories that had Venice or California. But Venice was the most diverse place in America. Venice was the American dream. I even wrote a book called American Dream Come True. So there was a lot of enthusiasm for Venice's spirit. In fact, oh my God, I can't tell you how many spirit discussions, stories, the spirit of Venice, the spirit.
Well, what's your perspective on what the spirit of Venice was then and what it is?
It was acceptance of all. And the thing that Abbot Kinney did was more remarkable than most people realize. He created a city whose sole purpose was entertainment. That's it. I mean, there's not another city in America. Coney Island wasn't the city. Coney Island was a development within the city of Brooklyn, or the borough of Brooklyn. But here, Abbot Kinney in 1911 said, here is a city that's committed and dedicated to entertainment. Well, I think everybody kind of saluted that, and Kinney became kind of like a hero. Without question, Abbot Kinney was the principal motivation, how he lived his life. Kind of like the more you learned about him, then kind of the more you said to yourself, well, I could do that.
So you started to emulate that?
Well, I didn't let anything hold me back. Whereas before I might have said, oh, well, that's too risky, or what will people think, or kind of like I just got past all that and realized that we can set an agenda that we, the people, can live by. So I kind of got a lot of reinforcement that the people are smarter than their bosses will admit. And I saw that time and again. I guess the bike path is the best example. We had the top planner come down and say it should go in the middle of the beach. And then we had the citizens tell our guy, no, we want to just slow. We want next to the... So the people have intelligence. And I guess that's one of the big things I came out of it with. I would rather trust the people than the government. Now you say, well, wait, we got to have experts to do traffic controls and everything. But the people, my experience as an activist in every community I've worked in, from Indians in South America to Compton, to Pico Union, to Venice, the people can handle it.